And my first greatest fear is a tie between my wife's temper, and sometimes at night I wake up in a cold sweat because I've had a nightmare that I had to wrestle Joey naked. So, having said that, I'll try and fumble through. You probably lived that nightmare. So, I just wanted to talk to you guys, you know, some of you guys who've been around for a little bit longer, you know a little bit about letcar and how we started, where we came from. And some of you don't. There's a lot of new faces here. There's been some amazing growth in our company over the last year, which has been really, really neat. But I'm going to take you back 10 years ago when I had another business. It's probably actually a little bit longer than 10 years ago. And I had another business, and I rented some office space from this good-looking fellow here right beside me, Chris. And we became friends, and we did a lot of neat things together. I was in a lot better shape back then, but we hung out a lot, did a lot of neat things, and one day I sold my company. And I didn't know what I was going to do for the rest of my life. I didn't do anything for about maybe 6 months. Through my friend Chris here and acquaintances, he actually introduced me to my wife, which was good. And one day we were out on a bike ride together, and he looked at me and said, "Steve, what do you want to do for the rest of your life?" And I said, "You know what, Chris? I don't know what I want to do for the rest of my life." And he said, "Hey, why don't you get into plumbing?" And I said, "You know what? That sounds like a good idea." So off I went. I got into plumbing. I started off working actually up in Fort McMurray, building the Steep Bank mine at Suncor way back when. And that was my first experience. And I finished my my trade through Chris. And about a few months before I graduated as a journeyman, I went to start my own business. And I was going to have a small service company. I was going to work in Edmonton. And again, my good friend Chris here bailed me out. He was my first customer. And he gave me my first service contract. So that was pretty cool. He's been a good friend. He's helped me out quite a lot. And that business grew over the years. It grew over the years. And a few years later, we had one of our clients that came up to Fort McMurray and started working at River Park Glen, the old Syncrude Towers. And kept phoning me, begging me to come up to Fort McMurray to help look after his buildings because they had such a problem with getting good quality workers here and to do a decent work that was you know, without charging an arm and a leg and ripping people off. So I came up, did a couple little jobs, and then before I knew it, I was up 2 days a week. Then I was up 3 days a week. Then I was up for a week at a time, and then weeks on end. And after about a year and a half, Claudia said, "That's enough." So we moved up, and it was shortly before that as well that Joey joined the company, and he's been a good asset for us. Joey's Joey, and that's why we love him. There's nobody like Joey. And one of the neat things that he helped us do, he helped us test a lot of our equipment and a lot of our trucks, a lot of the things that we had around the office, and he helped us quickly determine what was joy-proof and what was not joy-proof. That was an added benefit. So it was around that time that I kept in contact with Chris, and he said to me one day, this is about 3 years ago, he said, "Steve, do you want to take your company to the next level? What do you want to do with your company? And we sat down together, talked for a bit, and we decided to link up, and well, the rest is history. You know, back then I think we had about 8 employees. We've got a few more than that today. I really don't know how many employees we have. Somewhere between 80 and 90 right now. 84 employees. Yeah, so it's been a pretty cool ride. We've done some really amazing things. I'm so proud of all of our staff. We've tried to build the company on you know, on doing the best job that we can, on integrity. We've tried to have that philosophy filtered right down from the top. And I think it's working. I think that's why we're successful, and that's why we are here tonight. So with that, I want to turn the mic over to Chris, and he's just going to talk a little bit about the future, about the vision for our company, and what we hope to achieve together.
Well, I can honestly say there was no fear there on Steve's part. Boy, I'm kind of forward here with what Steve has said. Quite touched, actually. What can I say? You know what? It's
Mike's off.
What can I say? You know what? It's been 3 years. The company has done incredibly well. And you know what? I look at Fort McMurray and tar sands and everything that's going on here, and I think it's great that we've got 2 fantastic partners here on the ground, and I think the future here is extremely bright for the whole company. What can I say? You know what? The growth of tar sands, I think, is going to be one of the bright spots in the Canadian economy. And I can see it being a great ride for the next 10 years. And for people that really want to make something out of their lives, Fort McMurray and letcar are a great place to be. Hold the mic to my mom. Okay. Anyways, without further ado, I'll leave everybody here and enjoy the evening. Thank you.
Okay, so they did the speeches, so I'm not going to. Mine will be quick and fast. I'll give you a little bit, Mark. How's that? Like Steve said, he's giving you some quick history. I started with them in Edmonton, and it was kind of a fluke that I actually was even involved with Steve. My wife knew his partner in Edmonton through work, and I hadn't met them at all. And then while I was finishing, same as Steve, my last year as journeyman, the company got sold while I was gone to school. So one of the guys I used to work for phoned and said, "You need to find a new job. Your company's gone." I was like, "Oh, well, that's great." So no big deal, things happen. So I ran into Dan and he's like, "Yeah, we need a furnace guy." Well, I've never seen a furnace, other than I know one that's in my house somewhere. So I could probably figure it out. So I started working with him. And like Steve said, Joey's Joey, so after about a month, Dan and I didn't get along. And, you know, but we still had a good relationship. And then I left, went back to doing what I was doing before. I was a contract supervisor pipelining. Steve came up, started doing the RPG work. And then we'd been talking and kept in contact for the next year and a half, probably. And he's like, "Why don't you come to Fort Mac?" I was like, "Really? Fort Mac?" He's like, "Yeah, it's really good." So we kind of did the same thing. 2 weeks, a month, 2 years later, my wife, the same thing. "Too bad, you're moving up here." "Okay, sounds good." So for a lot of the new guys and some of the older guys that have been with us, they're now starting to make lives here. I was actually just saying to Steve earlier, one of the best things I've found about the growth of letcar, to be honest, is not the numbers or the size, or and even in some ways the jobs that we're doing. The thing that I personally have really noticed about letcar, and I've enjoyed seeing it grow, is that we have families now. We have people that are working for us that have made lives here see kids with young children, right? Employees, seeing the lives grow. The beginning of letcar when we were 6 guys living in a room, sure it was maybe fun, we maybe drank a few more beers than we do now. Like Steve said, we may be 10 or 20 or 40 pounds lighter than we were back then. But you know what, the growth of letcar that's been amazing is the family side as well. You have people making lives and sharing it with us, and that's been the best. So not going past that, I just want to say thanks to everybody. So what we're going to do now, feel free to grab drinks, because it's going to be probably about a half hour to get through this part. So what we're doing is we've got some awards and things we want to go through and hand out. First ones we're going to start with is plaques. Normally we do this about every quarter, but like everybody else this year has been busy, so I think I'm about a year behind, so I've got 20 to catch up on. Is Wyatt even here tonight? No? Okay. So these are first year plaques, but I'll go through the names and then we can handle the ones from people that are here. So Wyatt, to Wyatt, thank you. He's had 1 year now with letcar Mechanical. Ron Price.
I'm used to that one.
So thanks to Ron. Brian Haldenby. So unfortunately, we have to say goodbye to Brian as well. For those that don't know, Brian's got a new job. He couldn't convince his wife and kids to come to Fort Mac, so he's going back to his wife and kids. He's got a new job, bit of promotion, and going to enjoy his family life.